Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Monday morning is fetch approaching, and with it comes another fresh set of daily races. And so it's time for another daily race C strategy guide on GT Sport. Now it's been a fairly non-strategic couple of months for daily race C, with non-stop race after non-stop and very little strategy involved. But this week things are looking very much different as we go to Suzuka Circuit in Group 2 for 13 laps, with fuel at times 3, tyre wear at times 13, and the choice of the racing medium and the racing hard tyre. Now I am going to make this strategy guide based on the presumption that the racing hard tyre is going to be mandatory for this race. Also, one thing to point out is that 13 laps is going to be quite a long race for daily race C, a bit longer than normal, at around 24 minutes, whereas races normally come in about 18 to 19 minutes, so I very much hope that is not a typo, and this race is 13 laps long, as it could be some very interesting strategy with that. So first, before we get into some race runs, we'll take a brief look at fuel and tyres and then pit stops. No concerns on the fuel front for these Group 2 cars, even though it's going to be a slightly longer race. I've been revving the car out and finishing my race runs with about a lap worth of fuel left, probably around about 10%, so no fuel worries for this one. Yes, we'll do a quick back-to-back on the medium and the hard tyres just to get an idea where they sit. Lap times are on the left hand side of the screen are with the hard tyres. Lap times on the right hand screen are from the medium run that we are doing. So it looks like initially the medium tyres are about a second to 1.3 seconds quicker than the hard tyres, particularly over the first 2 laps, and then that gap sort of coming down as the laps go on and probably equalising around about lap 6. But on average over the first 5 laps, medium tyres are about a second a lap faster than the hard tyres. So that's something just to keep in mind when you're trying to choose what tyres you are going to start on. We shall move briefly on to pit stops, get an idea of how long an actual race pit stop is going to cost you in terms of time. Because the tyre wear is at times 13, our race runs will be done in a lobby, but we did go into a custom race set to race C conditions, just to get an idea of that pit loss. So you're going to be stationary for 6.4 seconds and spend 11 seconds in the pit lane, and that's all going to, when it's all said and done, you're going to lose about 5.5 seconds in the pits for a pit stop. So we've looked at the tyres, the fuel and the pit stops. We know the tyres at times 13, so there's certainly going to be some scope for various strategies in this one. I don't think the no stop is going to be possible, just on the hard tyres. Even on the hard tyres at times 13 tyre wear at a circuit like Suzuka, that's Suzuka obviously very hard on tyres. I think you'd be really struggling to get 13 laps on the hard tyres in a sensible manner. But because the pit stop was so short, I immediately thought the 2-stop might be a good option. So this first run we're looking at is the 2-stop. We started on the mediums, and we're going to take on a new set of mediums, then run the hard tyres at the end. So on to lap 5 on this first run, which is the 2-stop, and lap 5 is going to be our in-lap. You can see there that the tyres are already looking pretty worn, even after just 4.5 laps. One thing that I would sort of advise in this one is to not push too hard on the car. If you push too hard, you really will sort of wear those tyres out. But worse than that, I think you heat the tyres or overheat the tyres too much, and that will lead to quite a dramatic loss in grip, and sort of your lap times will go up quite dramatically. So try and take it quite easy on the car and the tyres, just to try and keep those tyres in that operating window, if you like. Anyway, we are coming to the pits now. Lap 5, no fuel required, new set of mediums. Now ignore the times here, we discussed the pit stop loss, the duration and pit time earlier. It actually should be 6.4 seconds and 11 seconds. But when we come to calculating our race finishing times, we'll obviously take all that into account. Out the pits we come. Careful at the first corner when you come out the pits with the cold tyres. Quite easy to go in there a bit too hard and go wide, cost yourself a bit of time. So the fresh tyres have been worth not quite as much as I thought they would be. Our best lap there on lap 7, only 3 tenths quicker than our opening lap, despite the fact we're a good bit lower on fuel at that point. But the tyres do stay alive a little bit better. So at lap 10 I decided it was time to come in, get rid of those mediums and put on a set of hard tyres. I think the option was there to probably do an extra lap on the mediums, but I could see from the sector times that it was time to move on to the mediums. I know with full fuel we can do mid 51s, so on low fuel you should be able to get into the 1 minute 50s on the hard tyres at the end of the race. Well, lap 12 there, our first flying lap on the hard tyre, not a great lap, but we do a better job on this lap. We've actually set a personal best sector in sector 3, into the chicane, taking plenty curb. You can be very aggressive with the curbs at the final chicane on this track without picking up a penalty, and we cross the line for our last lap in a 150.5, so certainly we definitely lost a little bit of lap time on lap 12. So that is the 2-stop run. I've got the finishing time for that noted down, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later once we have taking a look at the 1-stop run that we're going to do. So again we are starting on the medium tyres for this run here on the 1-stop. Now obviously we're going to have to stretch the tyres out a little bit longer. We're going to go to lap 6 on this set of medium tyres, so looking after the tyres even more than we were in the first run, just to try and keep some life in them for those later laps. I did quite a lot of practice on this, we got a lot of testing, and I did find if you sort of hammer the car too much in the first 2 laps, then your lap times would drop off quite significantly come lap 3. So there was definitely reward to be reaped from being gentle on the tyres over the first couple of laps. You sort of certainly gained a lot more on laps 3 and 4 with that strategy. If you want to sort of know how I was looking after my tyres, then I have a video on the channel called Why You Should Learn to Tyre Save. And that was the kind of techniques that from that video that I was following in this opening stint here on the medium tyres. Now you can see the lap times there, a 50.3, a 50.7, a 50.9. That was actually better than, slightly better, only by a few tenths over the course of the 3-4 laps. That was better lap times than we were doing on the 2-stop run. In lap 5 there, 51.3, only a second slower than our best lap, even with the tyres at 1. So again, I just felt that the only reason I was able to set that kind of lap time is because I'd looked after the tyres over the first few laps. Certainly not pushing at 100% helps that, just braking a little bit earlier into the corners and just keeping the car nice and stable seems to allow the tyres just to stay alive a little bit longer. However, this isn't going to be our in lap for the 1-stop. Okay, we can just, I've got the fuel meter up there, so you can see we're coming to the end of lap 6, we've got over 8.5 laps to go, so we're almost a lap up on fuel at this point. So no fuel saving required in the car that we're in, which I actually forgot to mention earlier on. We are in the 2016 Lexus Group 2 car. I don't think it's the fastest car. I think the GTR will be quicker by a few tenths per lap, but I do like this car, so when it comes to Group 2 it's one I like to use quite a lot. So into the pits we come. Again, ignore those times. We know it's 6.4 second stop duration and 11 second pit lane time, and that culminates in a 5.5 second loss in the pits. But we're on to the hard tyres now. No need to really watch too much footage on the hard tyres. You can see the lap times there from lap 8 onwards was our first fly lap in the hard tyres. A 51.0, a couple of 51.0s back to back, 51.4, 51.5. Lap 12 there, probably quite tardy. I had in a previous run done lap 12 in the 51s. And this last lap here is not a great lap either. You've seen as we came into out the S's, sorry, I think it's Dunlop curve it's called. We had to get off the throttle quite a lot, and that was going to cost us all the way down and towards the Deckners. But all in all, this was a very solid run on the one stop. I was quite happy with, particularly the first stint. Certainly up to about lap 11 it was going nicely, but probably left a few attempts on the table over these last 2 laps, no two doubts about that. But the hard tyres, no real need to do any tyre saving on them. They are much more durable than the mediums. Lap times stay together quite nice. Car feels quite nice for the entire run. Even this last lap still seems to be plenty of grip. Obviously very low on fuel, so that's going to help matters. Again, we don't do a great job into the chicane there. Certainly cost ourselves some time. And we cross the line here for a 52.2 for our last lap. So definitely half a second left on the table over laps 12 and 13 there. But we've got the finishing time noted for that. We've calculated everything together in regards to the pit stops and sort of made sure that we've sort of synchronised where the cars started. So the 2-stopper coming in at 24 minutes and 15.2. And the one stop at 24 minutes 17.6. So let's go over a few of the pros and cons of both strategies. So we'll take a look at the 2-stopper first. Obviously a pro is that it's faster on paper than the one stop. You've obviously, because you are making 2 stops and using 3 sets of tyres rather than 2, you've got better tyres and grip throughout the race. And a culmination of that, or the sort of consequence of that, is it seems a little bit safer because you're not on worn tyres as much, or nearly as worn tyres, so I feel you're probably less likely to make a mistake doing the 2-stopper or running wide at something like Spoon, or just missing your braking point by a metre. You can just see you flying off at Degner. So that's the pros for the 2-stop. Negatives, I think you're going to be facing some traffic. If you stop on lap 5, there's a good chance you're going to come out behind people on worn tyres doing the one-stopper. Probably going to have quite a massive grip advantage over them, but even so, passing at Suzuka with Group 2 cars and the dirty air is always quite difficult. Moving on to the one-stop, the pros for the one-stop is you have track position. Come the end of the race, you should be ahead of a 2-stopper after they make their second stop, but it will be pretty close, I think. The dirty air is kind of a pro in the one-stop, because the 2-stopper comes up behind you, they are still going to find it quite difficult to get by you just purely through that dirty air. Negatives, you are on pretty worn tyres come the end of each stint, particularly the end of a medium stint, and the consequence of that is that you can be quite prone to making mistakes, or it would be much easier to make mistakes. So it's quite hard to recommend what's the best strategy for this one, but I think both are viable. Obviously the 2-stop's going to have to do a bit of overtaking, but it would appear to be the faster of the 2 ways to go, without traffic, that is anyway. So I shall just leave it at that. I'm not going to say what strategy is better. I think it's one of these ones where I'll have to do some testing in the actual race myself. But hopefully this guide has been helpful. Hopefully it gets you a little bit prepared for this race. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate all the views, the subscribes and the positive comments that I get. So if you're liking what I'm doing, then please hit that like button. It should help the channel maybe grow a little bit. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you on the next one.